asked people to send ideas for DIY decor. Everyone was asking me how to make frames, and the truth is making frames is more expensive than buying them. That's the truth. And as I told most of you, I don't have the proper tools to make such frames from scratch because of one simple reason. You need to have a table saw to be able to make the beveled cut, which I do not have. And like I said, it's impossible to do that. So when I went to get Mbao, I had Ochieng do the cuts for me, and I'll insert that footage. So the footage, what he did is he had to make the beveled cuts, and then after making this beveled cuts, so the beveled cuts are the ones that leave you with the space for your glass for the frame. So he had to do that and then cut this, and then he used it was a lot of work. We used a 2x1 bao, and we had to make the bevel at least an inch in, so it was an inch elevated and an inch deep. Not deep, in yes, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like the bevel was an inch, let me just say that. And then we had to now go and cut this bao. We went with a classic angled cut, and this was a disaster. But we got the hang of it eventually, but it was a lot of work because you had to measure the top and the bottom, like that's like now the beveled part and the top, because it's an angled cut, and we had to make sure that the glass we had would sit in this and fit nicely. So we used a square, and just like the problem with doing angled cuts by hand is that they're never really straight, so that was a bit of a struggle. But we used what we had. In this case, Ochieng was cutting by hand, and then after doing the cuts, we had to use those pieces to try and make the other pieces. We made a mistake with the second piece. We had to turn the mbao, so the second piece we cut ended up being a mistake. Like we didn't end up using it at all. Then after that, like before every piece we cut, we had to align. So we were literally doing a frame at a time. We couldn't do like all the frames, that to do all the cutting and then come do all the pigaing randa, and then we had to cutter the mbao, measure it, then cutter the next piece, then measure it, then cutter the next piece, then measure that, and it was such a repetitive process. So after cutting these pieces, some of them we had to go in and reduce completely because they were either the angle wasn't right or like it moved to the side, like just that kind of random stuff that happens when you're using or cutting stuff by hand. Then after that, he went in with his randa. I don't know what this thing is called in Kizungu because I've never bothered to find out. So we went with the randa, and we tried to, Ochieng was now trying to smoothen the edges, that way these angles would sit tight next to each other. We did our best with this one. So again, another repetitive process. So it was like he would do that, align that, and then after you've aligned one piece, the other piece like that's at the bottom or next to the one you just aligned at the top now suddenly doesn't fit. And the thing is, after doing all this, we had only done one frame. So we had to go in and do this 3 more times to be able to finish with our frames. Like I told you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So we did this, and then now went home, and it was time to start the assembly process. Oh, the other thing I did was anytime we'd finish doing a frame, I would mark each piece when they're attached like this, mark them together and write which frame it was, like frame number 1, 2, and 3 and 4, and then mark, so that when we came home it was just going to align those pieces where I had marked them. So each each was aligned at a different point. I marked them at different points on each corner so that I would come align those straight lines and have my frame ready, set, go. How much did this cost? In total, the mbao, each frame, because the glass for the frame was 60 bob one piece. Yes, the glass is 60 shillings. This was 4 feet at 15 bob. So that's another 60 bob, 120.
4 feet.
Yeah, because one foot is like 15 bob.
Yeah, so that's 60.
And then I had to pay an extra. Actually, it's not 15, it's 18 because I had to pay for the cuts as well per foot, because you pay per foot. So times 4. Each cut is 2 bob, so that's another 10 bob.
So that's 64 bob.
No, that's 10 bob, an extra, so that's 25 bob for each per foot, because they measure per foot and it's 4 feet.
Okay.
So that's 15, so that's 25 bob per feet. So these are 4, so that's 100 bob, and the glass is 60 bob. And I could have just bought from Naivas for 140 and just painted. I think unless you're making like a lot of them, it's cheaper to just buy, because also you haven't counted. I have to use staples, you have to use the wood glue, there's the nini for the back, the misumaris, then there's also the fact that you either have to paint it or put varnish on it. So I think it's still cheaper to buy a frame than it is to make one, because also after all that I have not even told you the labor that I had to pay Nani, because it was 100 bob per frame. So that's 200, and just buy frames, just buy them. Yeah. So what I did is I put them in the whatevers I didn't want to put them together, so each frame is separate. I tied them separately to make my work easier. So the other thing, what I did was I marked the parts that will ingiana. So like I measured, so that's not the right one for there. No, it's okay.
They should all be parts together.
Yeah, but that's not the one for there. I believe this guy. Yep. Is it? It's not this one.
It's gotta be one of those.
It has to be one of this because they're all written 1, 1, 1, 1. Yes. So maybe this one is to the side.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, you see, this is too much work. Wait, I'm doing them correctly. So if it's not that one, I think it's this one. Yes. Found it!
Not yet.
That one there. This one here. So mine are 30. The inside is 30 by 30. I said 30 because I wanted them to be the same size as the mirrors. These ones are for putting frames above the TV. Okay.
So how do they stick together?
So you have to stick them together.
Glue and staple.
I have to put the glue and then put the staples. So that's how they are going to be. So I need to flip this over. So let's do this. No, this comes to this side when you flip it. And this comes to that side. And then this just flips this way. So it's that way.
Yeah.
The way we flipped it is correct, Sindo, because you would have done this. Because if we flip it this way, these ones are not even touching anymore. I booked let's do it the way it was first. And then I show you what we will do. I'm going to attach and then just put glue within. I'm going to attach from the top first. See, it would have been cheaper to just go to Naivas. I'll just put one. Which one are you holding?
Mom, okay.
Just hold one corner. Hold one corner. I shikanisha. I need to put the staple here, so you need to.
How's that?
Ebu, kwanza? No, let's go completely. Is this one the one for here?
Yes.
We're sure. Because these ones are now not aligned.
Here.
They're not aligned anymore. Because you didn't do anything else to them after. Ah yeah, make sure just the corners are touching. I need to staple so you can't put your hand like over them. Alright, let's do the next one. The corners are the most important. You're pushing this down. Alright, let's put this here just to center it. I think we should do all of them first, and then now when we do the rest, we just do all of them in one go. because this is gonna be so much work. Okay, so I guess you can start with this one since it's on that's here.
It's being done.
Have to put the wood glue.
Interesting glue.
I feel like I should have something underneath. Where's that newspaper? Supposed to. So you see the back needs to be like this, and then we now staple it. Leave the cutter alone, Nick. We have more things to worry about. So now this needs to be like that. Completely push it against each other. This is not worth the pain. They'll be pretty, but still, too much of a hassle. Hi, clothes. Right. Frame number one after all the hassle. Now we are going to make the rest. We have 3 more to do. Now I'm going to just vanish it because I initially wanted to paint them black, but given the way the wall looks, I think the warm tones of this and the fact that I'm doing like wooden seats will work very well together. They'll complement each other, and we also do have wooden laminate floors, so that's what we are about to do. I'll leave this in the balcony to dry, and then once it dries I'll do another layer, another coat. That way it's like very smooth and soft and completely sealed off. So I'm gonna now finish off with the rest, and then we move on to whatever is next. So the frames are at this stage. Ow. They have been vanished and put together. I have this my glass pieces for the top. This is just white paper that I got from Textbook Center. I'll show you what I want to do with it. And primer. Okay, let's see. Please feet. Please feet. Yay! So this is for the back. Whew. So we have to use the glass to measure this first. Can just use one piece of glass. You know it. I want to cut a straight piece. This is a cardboard box that came with a cooker, so I didn't go buy a cardboard box. Okay. is a photo of Joey that we are not going to use. We have another one printed out. So I'm going to use this to map out these papers. So first I need to map one that's the size of this glass again. Time to work on this ones, on the individual pieces. And before I do anything with them, I'll take this photo of Joey, and then I want to cut the photo, the size, because they're all the same. So I'm just going to cut out the part the photo sits on so that we can use it to trace there to show where the photo will end up. Yeah. Okay, let's just cut that. Okay, so we can do one of two things. We can use this, which I think might be an okay move. Let's see, if I use this and trace out the edge, that way we have extra. Because this is a square, so, and this is a square, so I want them to be as straight as possible. Ah, where are you going? I'm framing photos of the cat so that if we get a visitor, they're not mistaken as to who this house belongs to. They need to know who rules this kingdom. Okay. We'll fix one and then confirm that it's working, and then do the others the same way. It's okay. One's done. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. So we have another one of Joey's photos. So I would want this to be okay. That's actually not bad. But it would have to be the other way around. Muthoni. It would have to be this way. Okay. And then I'll have tape on the back. Tape the photo to the back so that it doesn't move. That's what I'm doing. Okay. The back of this one. The back like that. And then we would take our frame. So it's this guy. Put the glass. I have not cleaned the glass yet because we're doing a test run, and then once everything is sorted, we'll be able to do the final product. And then put that in there. Where are my cardboards? Then take a cardboard and seal the back. Then take this. Let me just do two. Where's the nyundo? Where's the nyundo? Let's do one at the top. Can do these longer ones. Let's test out. I think we'll do these long ones. Okay. And then yo! Okay, all you're seeing are reflections. Wait, there you are. Yay! This looks very nice. Yes! This is so cute! Joey, come see yourself. Joey, I know this is not your best. Oh, this is so cool. Now I'm gonna do that as I clean all these other pieces out. Clean everything and now do this for reals, And also how I think I'll have to cut the bits from the front because it's the side you're cutting from is a lot neater. Now that I have this, I'll just use this as my guide. That way I don't have to draw a line on it. And it's heavy because the glass is also heavy. This is pretty cool. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, I know I bitched a lot when I was talking about making of these frames. I still don't think it was worth the hassle, but I love how it looks. I love the outcome. I love the final product. Still not worth the hassle. I think it would still have been cheaper to buy them. But I had less time. I know. I'm just gonna make the rest.